Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with a number of flashbacks of what happened earlier. Additionally, Chuan's death is shown at the hands of a Japanese soldier. Next, Wing Chun master Yip Man reaches a hall, on a rooftop in Hong Kong, in an attempt to open a school to propagate his art. However, after a week has passed, there has not been a single student who has signed in. Yip Man eventually makes it back to his house in the evening, just in time to help his pregnant wife get a drink of water. He is an undocumented immigrant, and has nothing to support himself with. The landlord, who is there to collect rent, knocks on the door. They make the decision to remain silent, because they do not have sufficient funds to satisfy the obligation. The next day, Yip Man gets a visit from a young man he has never seen before. The young man is assisting his neighbor with drying laundry, while holding a flyer for an academy. However, when Yip Man begins to explain Wing Chun to the man abruptly cuts him off and instead challenges him to a duel. He anticipates the man is prepared to enroll in his academy, who offers to pay if he comes out on the losing end. Yip Man flashes a grin and agrees to take up the challenge. The battle has officially begun. Yip Man engages him in a stealthy struggle at first, but he is unable to land any blows on him. Then he begins to unleash powerful blows, knocking him down. Finally, Yip Man requests the promised payment, but the man abandons him. In the evening, the man returns with 3 men following him to gang up on Yip Man. They taunt him, and he chases them away if they aren't interested in learning Wing Chun. But they persist, and a 1 versus 4 fight ensues. Yip Man effortlessly overcomes them, and departs. Soon, the unknown man named Wang Shun Lung kneels and offers to be Yip Man's student. The 3 men also appear to kneel and ask Yip Man to be his disciple. Yip Man laughs at them, and tells them they need to pay their fees first. He explains and trains his students in Wing Chun the next day. His students gradually multiply, and he collects his students' payments one evening, although he does not force the payment, if any of them are in financial difficulty. Yip Man is preparing to buy some sweets at night, when he is startled by the sound of a duck thief being chased by the residents. He readily pays for the duck, because he recognizes it. The thief flees, but his son brings Yip Man to him. Yip Man can't believe his eyes when he sees Chao Ching Chuen, his long-lost best buddy who has gone wild. He even relapses when Yip Man approaches him. Yip Man is devastated by what he saw, and lays the blame on himself. Chao tells him that his father got like that after being wounded in the head with a bullet, and he is often unable to provide meals for him, because he only works odd jobs. Then Yip Man vows to look after his father with him, and brings Chao to Khan the next day, to recruit him. Some Hung Academy students provoke Lung one day, as he is posting pamphlets on the wall. Lung agrees to take on their duel challenge. It begins as a one-on-one duel, but after he wins, he is promptly ganged up on by the rest of the Hung students. Yip Man is contacted by the Hung students, who instruct him to go to the fish market with Lung's ransom, for what Lung has done to their brothers. When they arrive at the fish market, they release Lung. Then he tells Yip Man everything. The Hung student asks Yip Man for the ransom, but he declines. They then surround him, and he handles them quietly. However, they unleash their second blow. And this time, they've got weapons. Yip Man uses a wooden pallet to defend himself, and eventually manages to take 2 machetes over. They are encircled, and Yip Man decides to grab a hostage and flee. But then, on the other side, a group of people start running. Jin, the wanderer, is discovered. But Jin lets Yip Man leave and demands for his machetes. However, Yip Man is soon blocked again, this time by Master Hung and his students. Yip Man introduces himself to Master Hung, and explains the situation. Master Hung becomes enraged and states that Yip Man Academy lacks permissions. And Yip Man must compete against every Kung Fu master in Hong Kong. Not long after, Master Hung goes to the police station with a buddy, to turn in his boxing ticket money and request his half, but the Western cop boots him out instead. Yip Man's wife urges him late at night, that he should give up his teaching job. But he persists and tries to reassure his wife. The next day, all of the Kung Fu experts gather around a single large white table, for the duel arena. Yip Man arrives not long after. After that, Master Hung introduces Yip Man to his fellow Kung Fu teachers. And informs that he must either endure till the incense runs out, or lose. The first Kung Fu master joins Yip Man at the table, who easily defeats the Kung Fu expert. Then the second master appears. Yip Man manages to lock him up yet again, until he surrenders. Until last, Master Hung approaches the table. And Yip Man battles. Because the combat is so entertaining, the Kung Fu experts begin to take it more seriously. They both battle with equal strength and agility. When the incense runs out, The struggle finishes when the table divides, and they both manage to stay on top of the table. Yip Man receives his permit, but Master Hung demands he pay the monthly price like the other academies, but he declines, stating he would welcome any duel challenges, but would not pay any cost for them. When Master Hung hears this, he threatens Yip Man and urges him to keep his eyes open, and soon takes a seat and consumes herbal medicine for his asthma. The next day, Lung encounters the Hung Academy beanie guy, who had barred some people from looking for Yip Man's Wing Chun Academy. Lung, feeling uneasy about it, throws an urn down, igniting a battle between the two academies. Khan requests that Yip Man clear his teaching space in the evening, owing to the brawl event. Yip Man understands his request, but he goes to Mater Hung to express his displeasure with what his student did. Master Hung claims the emergence of the Kung Fu Academy in Hong Kong is only owing to his close ties to the West. He challenges Yip Man to a new combat. However, in the midst of the struggle, Master Hung's son unexpectedly passes by. His wife and children then emerged, inviting him to dinner. Yip Man requests permission to depart. Master Hung pays Yip Man a visit the next day, when he is lecturing. Master Hung invites him to a boxing contest in the West, and they are officially pals. Soon, Master Hung goes to the boxing ring and asks the Western cop for the wages of his men, for preparing the ring. Instead, the officer becomes enraged, and threatens to close the fish market. Then his friend Fatso persuades him to comprehend the problem, because if the fish market closed, their people would be out of work. The event took place at night. Hung Academy kids open it, and Master Hung instructs Yip Man to send his student as well. Twister, the boxer, is also present during the opening ceremony. Twister states, after watching the Kung Fu performances, that Chinese boxing is nothing more than a dance show. He proceeds to the arena in order to antagonize them. He then attacks all of them, and also states that Chinese boxing is meaningless. The attending Kung Fu masters go up to the arena, and begin fighting. After that, Master Hung and Yip Man go up to the arena to separate them. Yip Man is able to defend himself against Twister's attacks. Master Hung parries Twister's hit, becoming enraged and demanding an apology from him. He refuses, stating he'd apologize if Master Hung can beat him in the arena. The combat begins once Master Hung agrees, who breezes through the first round. Yip Man is concerned about him, and advises him to go for his arms instead. Master Hung concurs, and in the second round, he lands many powerful punches. But he is knocked down by one of Twister's strong uppercuts. He stands up, slams Twister, and exhales deeply. His kids notice that his asthma has flared up. During the respite, Yip Man advises him to abandon the fight, but he is adamant, and states he will not tolerate anyone mocking Kung Fu. A slew of Twister punches land on him shortly after the round resumes. Yip Man attempts to submit, but Master Hung prevents him. He stands up and resumes the fight. But his asthma flares up again in the middle of the fight, and Twister savagely hits him. The referee gives his signal, the match concludes, and Master Hung dies. Yip Man attends Master Hung's funeral, to pay his respects. Twister and his team conduct a press conference the next day. They refuse to be identified as murderers, claiming Master Hung died as a result of his own weakness. Twister also makes fun of the Chinese use of incense as a timer. Soon, Yip Man comes, claiming that they too used incense to pray. Twister is challenged to a duel. The next day, Yip Man relocates his family to a neighboring property, so he can train freely. He also takes some time off to feed Chuan. Wing Sing is also on the verge of delivering birth at the time, but she doesn't want to interfere with Yip Man's training. The big day has finally arrived. Everyone is listening to the game on the radio. Yip Man steps forward in the ring, as soon as he sees Twister enter. But when the referee sends him back to his corner, the Western audience mocks him. The struggle then begins. Yip Man appears overwhelmed at first, due to his unfamiliarity with Western boxing, and by Twister's agility and strength. When he is knocked down by one of Twister's punches, everyone becomes concerned, but he manages to rise up, and everyone celebrates for him, because he also manages to knock Twister down. In the second round, Yip Man also manages to land 1,000 blows on Twister, who cleverly knocks him out after the round end bell rings. The audience erupts. When the jury sees Twister is upset, attempting to rig the match, they have a debate, which results in a kick ban for Yip Man in the third round. If he refuses, Twister is the winner. Twister absolutely outperforms Yip Man here, who is in a bad way. But then he recalls what Master Hung had said, to focus on weakening Twister instead of trading blows with him. He stands up, and continuously targets Twister's arms, eventually knocking him down, and repeatedly hitting his face. The referee as well as others who are watching count down. Twister's defeat is proclaimed. Everyone rejoices at Yip Man's victory. Then Yip Man delivers a statement. He states that it was not a contest between Kung Fu and boxing. However, it was all about mutual respect. And he hopes that no one would ever belittle someone in the future. For his moving remarks, the Western audience gives him a standing ovation. Yip Man goes to his wife and child after the match. A few days later, he is visited by a little boy, who wants to learn Wing Chun. Yip Man laughs and asks his name. And the boy introduces himself as Bruce Lee. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.